By the way, I don't actually wear glasses. I'm just trying to be a Harry Potter nerd. So I hope I'm succeeding. So on this fine day, I decided to film, since who knows how long we were going to be staying in isolation for. So it only makes sense to do something productive. Unfortunately, I have nothing else to do and I'm avoiding holiday homework. Today, I thought I would give you guys a bit of an update on my life. Not that you care or anything. Mainly to do with reading, of course. And also, this video is actually hopefully titled My Isolation, what's it called? Isolation TBR list, so like to be read list. Have I ever shown you guys my new bookshelf? Well, just in case I haven't, I'm just gonna do a quick bookshelf tour now. Might as well. I'm gonna reverse the microphone because I am high tech. There we go. Anyway. So, top shelf is like my kind of travel display shelf. Moving on, this is my prided Harry Potter shelf. Everything on here is Harry Potter, literally. And yes, that is a new edition, Goblet of Fire, which was basically the only illustrated edition I wanted because it's my favorite book, favorite movie. I now have officially all 7 books in the series, yeah! So from right to left, I have the Hufflepuff edition of Philosopher's Stone. These editions, I don't know what you call them, of Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. I think they're like the earlier ones, but they're obviously not the original, otherwise I'd be rich. The new editions of Goblet of Fire and Half-Blood Prince, which was given to me by a friend, so thank you very much. Half-Blood Prince was the last book I had to complete my set. And these 2 hardcovers of Order of the Phoenix and Deathly Hallows. And on the third shelf is my red shelf. As you can see, it's not full yet. I've read a lot of books, disclaimer, but a lot of them are library books, so obviously they're not here because I'm not a thief. So yeah, they're not really in any particular order, but I've got my 3 glorious Carry On, Wayward Son. Oh, and another Carry On back there. Don't forget that. Then on the bottom shelf is my to be read shelf. It's not the neatest. I have a pile of bookmarks there. I'm not organized. Oh, and that's a cat wooden thing that's fallen underneath. The reason I showed you my shelves, coming back to the topic, was because if I were to name this video my TBR for isolation, it would be basically the whole of the bottom shelf. But let's be realistic here. I'm not super nerd bookworm. I can't read a book in a day. I mean, sometimes I can, but very rarely. That's if I have like literally nothing else to do, which doesn't exist anymore when you're in year 11. But I've narrowed it down to 5 books that I've kind of picked, and not in any particular order, but they're kind of like the ones that I most want to read during this period of isolation, and I hope I can finish them. I'll update you guys on how I'm going, because you all know the last time, like 3 years ago, when I tried to read like 4 books in a week or something, that did not quite work out well. That was like the New Year's Eve thing. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. I'll link it up on the screen. It's like my New Year's Eve vlog. You'll see baby me, embarrassing me. Nothing has changed. Oh yeah, so I have 5 books and I've also got a few special mentions. First book is this amazing book. It's actually may or may not be illegal. So, I found this at a op shop for $1 with my friend, and I saw the beautiful cover. I mean, first I saw the beautiful spine, and then I saw the beautiful cover. And I was like, I don't care what this is about, I'm buying it. And then I noticed that it says May 2020 on the spine, and I was like, it's not 2020 yet, firstly. So, how? What? Then I opened it, and I was like, ooh. This is an uncorrected book proof. I have no idea what this means. Free proof copy. Book people out there, tell me what this is. I'm innocent. Don't arrest me, firstly. Police people. I just found this at an op shop. And I bought it because it was really cheap. And I loved the cover. This is, what's her name? Beth Cartwright's debut, and it's perfect for fans of The Bear and the Nightingale and The Night Circus. I have not read Bear and the Nightingale, but I've heard a lot about it. I've read Night Circus. I liked it. I feel like I didn't fully understand it. I felt like it was really deep, and I was just kind of reading it for like the story, and it was a cool story and everything, but maybe there isn't a deep meaning. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what it's about, but since it has been compared with The Night Circus, I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of fantasy, maybe magical realism, that kind of thing. Next book on my TBR is this. Margaret Thatcher, Grocer's Daughter to Iron Lady. So this is a biography that my mum bought me. It was kind of random. She just said, here, I bought you a book, and she rarely buys me books these days since I know what I like and I just buy books myself. So I was like, she hasn't done this since I was like 10, so I'm like, there must be something special about this book that she wants me to read. So obviously I'm gonna read it. And I'm actually starting to get a bit into like non-fiction stuff, like broadening my reading tastes, which is good, I hope. So I'm gonna try reading this really thick biography. And yeah, I haven't really heard of Margaret Thatcher. Probably you guys have. She's really famous, I guess. She was Britain's, was she the first female prime minister or something? I don't know. So yeah, I'm hoping this is gonna be interesting. The font is also really small. It's got that musty old book smell. When was this published? Although I kind of have a book nose, so this was published in 2009. So that's 11 years ago. That's actually quite a while. Third book on my TBR is a book I got for Christmas from my parents, and it was actually out of one of those blind date packages from bookshops, so it like only tells you elements of the book. Maybe they'll say romance, China, whatever. I think this one had China on it, which makes sense because this is The Magnolia Sword, A Ballad of Milan by Sherry Thomas. And I was like really excited to see this. I'm not exactly sure what a ballad means. I'm guessing it's like a retelling or something, because it's not exactly the same storyline. It's still about how Milan is joining the army as a man, but it's got some other side stories as well with her and the, what's his name, the princeling, the royal duke's son. The princeling sounds like duckling. And also they have to unwind their past, unmask a traitor, and uncover the plans for the Ruran invasion. Ruran. I don't know if that's Chinese. You know how they always do like retellings of classic tales when the movie comes out? Like Cinderella, Snow White, all that. I'm not really into those generally, but maybe Milan will be different. Next, I have 2 Chinese books, which obviously might not appeal to you guys as much. Not that I'm like advertising or anything, but this one you guys might have seen in like some video. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I've showed it in a video. I haven't read it yet. So it's just been like collecting dust on my shelf. But this is a Japanese novel that has been translated into Chinese, bought in China a couple years ago, and its title is literally I Am a Cat. So I'm just interested. I literally have no idea what it's about. So far I've read a couple of pages, and I'm like, it's basically about a cat and how maybe humans he lives with, or he or she, sorry, no gender discrimination here. The humans that it lives with, and maybe just seeing the world from a cat's perspective, which sounds really interesting. And last but not least, I have a book that I bought when I went over to China earlier this year, and it's called Sophie's World, and it's by a Norwegian. That's how you call someone from Norway, right? Norwegian? Yeah, that sounds right. Jostein Gardner. Oh no, Garda. I'm not gonna try. but it's also translated to Chinese, obviously. It's kind of interesting because this one is like a fiction, but it's also like an introduction to philosophy kind of book. So I think it uses a storytelling kind of method to discuss a lot of ideas about philosophy, which I'm actually quite interested in philosophy. I have no idea what it is. I just know it's questioning the meaning of life. It probably really isn't, but I thought it would be really interesting, and it's been translated into 64 languages, so I'm guessing it's pretty good. Whoa, 1991, so that's like 29 years ago, nearly 30 years ago, but maybe it's only been recently translated, so I'm really interested to read this. Yes. I had a couple of special mentions. Firstly is what I'm currently reading, which is another Chinese book. It's called, should I even bother? Goats Don't Eat Grass in Heaven. That's a direct translation. I don't even know what it means in Chinese, let alone English. So I'm just gonna tell you what it is because there's a goat on the cover. Yay! Look how cute it looks. I've read a couple of his books. He writes kind of like children's like fiction, and his style of writing is really beautiful. So that's what I'm reading right now. After this, I'm planning on maybe taking a break from Chinese and reading probably Feather Tide, which was the first one I mentioned. So I said in no particular order, but I kind of have that planned up in my head anyway. And then also I just finished reading Sapiens, and if you follow me on Instagram at Muse of Magens, promoting my socials here, you would have seen that I posted about this. I'm actually so proud of myself for finishing this because look how big it is, firstly. Look how small the font is. It's kind of standard, but still. It's 70 pages. 498, that's including the index and the notes and all the stuff I don't read. But it took me only like 5 years. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was 5 years, like not exaggerating this time. But yeah, I loved it. It's so insightful, and one of the main reasons I wanted to read in the first place was, yes, I would look smart if I read it, in my mind. And also, Bill Gates and Obama and this Chris Evans guy, who I don't know who he is. It's probably really famous. I'm sorry if I offended any Chris Evanian fans out there. Actually, if I see his face, I'll probably know who he is. They all gave praise to this book. So I was like, if famous people like it, I must like it. I know, I'm boring. It really did live up to my expectations. Like, at first you might think, oh my god, this is sounding like a textbook, but it's so much more interesting than a textbook because Yuval Noah Harari, I don't want to say his name wrong, his style of writing is quite humorous. There's a bit of comedy in there and a bit of sarcasm, but then he also asks these really deep questions that make you think and reflect on the meaning of life. But he's also got 2 sequels, I think. One is Homo Deus, which is on the future of humankind, and one is 21st Lessons, is lessons for the 21st century, or 21st lessons for the century, whatever. But I want to read those 2 as well. And then I had a special mention just because this book is amazing. You'll see what I mean and why I wanted to show you. When Dad and I went to watch Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, there was like an interval break between Act 1 and Act 2, so I went to this bookshop, obviously, and I found this beauty. It is called Literary Places by Sarah Baxter, illustrated by Amy Grimes. And it's an inspired traveler's guide. So it basically like shows you all the locations which lots of classic books are based on. The first one is on Paris. And for Paris, look at this beautiful picture. It talks about Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. And it talks about the time period and the environment which he was writing in, and it's a travel guide, so it's obviously gonna tell you about the real place. And I feel like this is so cool. Like, when coronavirus is over, I want to like go to all these places. probably can't because I got school. But still, I like to fantasize. I'm gonna go to all these beautiful places, and like this will probably inspire me to read a lot of other classics as well, which I've been getting into because there's a reason they're classics. So I feel like maybe seeing like a combination of the real life place and the book will inspire me to read them. So this is obviously on my to be read list too, but I didn't put it on my isolation list because I feel like this is more of like a coffee table book in a way. Like I'll pick it up, read a couple of pages, put it back down, and then whenever I feel like it, just pick it up and read it again. So that's that. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe and comment on what you are planning to do during your isolation period, what you guys are reading. If you have any book recommendations or if you want any book recommendations, just comment or message me on Instagram at museofmages. Thanks for sticking with me, guys, and I hope you enjoy this new content. Bye-bye. I should probably pick it up. There we go. This is gonna be a great angle, isn't it? Sorry if my voice sounds really weird today. I have a kind of a sore throat.